Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday night with the crib. It's me and Dr. Death at this point. How are you doing, Dr. Death?
Oh, I'm doing good.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the current TLC, odd things going on with the Gluttony Hall, and some information from the preview server that wasn't terribly cheery. At least for people that are sitting on their haunches waiting for the skill hall. So let's get it started. Unless you got anything to start with.
No, let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay, as normal. Bug fixes. Basically, in the first bullet, they prevented people from parking their Hyperion off the map, so it couldn't be hit, which is a good fix. I mean, I don't own one, but at least make it fair. Um, Turrets that have the multi-shot will now correctly have the values for the stat increases in the stats displayed when a special with a bonus to multi-shot is equipped. That has happened. Previously, would have it would say like +2 if you had the right specials, but it doesn't reflect the increase in damage. Um, so they did it part way. They didn't do it completely because when you add on a multi-shot special, the damage per shot stays the same. So if you add two, you're adding damage to it. So it's actually, I think at this point, slightly more misleading than it was before. So and then I don't know what they did with all your fire support mods or fire support affecting your turrets and your base. They added this affected class Conqueror, which I'm not sure why they added that. It doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. I
No, I
guess,
don't.
yeah. So, um, alrighty. I guess they made the change to the multi shot because of the release of the new Venom spitter.
Yeah, I would guess so. But really, really what they need to do is they need to come out and have it calculated to where when you build one of them turrets and you got it set and you look at them stats, it needs to show what the damage actually is. That includes bonuses that you're getting from any platforms boosting up that turret around it.
I can understand that part a little bit because if you move it or that, say that warehouse or outpost or the warehouse dies, your damage is going to go down. I understand potentially not including all the fire support stuff. I sort of understand that logic, but the multi-shot logic where it's not adding the damage from that special to the total, I don't understand that at all. But yeah, and it's more difficult for people to, well, okay, I got to add multi-shot, and then I need to add my damage and reload from something else. But yeah, it would make it easier. But I agree with you on that. But yeah, it's alrighty. The Forever TLC. Um, do we know why it's called Forever?
Mm,
Okay.
no, really don't. I mean,
Besides the fact that you got what, 7 run-throughs, it takes you forever. I'm not really sure what the impetus of that was.
but it does. It doesn't. If you got the right tech, I mean, if you're a person with the right tech, it doesn't take forever. I mean, I did all 7 run-throughs in less than an hour.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the quickest TLCs that I've done.
yeah. I was just curious why they called it Forever. Price pack one. We're going to show you the targets. Price pack one, you have 6 hours, and as you go across, they all decrease in time all the way down to an hour at the mastery prize. But price pack one has uh, 3 bases that you need to hit, and we'll get into more detail on those bases. Price Pack 2, same 3 bases, and adds in the 71 from the last raid. And the remaining prize packs, same 3 bases, the 71 plus the 100.
And it does not increase in difficulty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the same thing. So prize pack 3 to mastery, the only increase in difficulty is that you need to get done quicker and quicker as you go along.
Yeah, whereas, in the past, when they've done this, when they bring in the same target over and over again, each time you went back in and had to hit it, it was a little bit more difficult. Either had more armor or more firepower. This time they didn't. This time the only change that they did was on the time.
Yep. So I think I can't remember if maybe somebody in chat, is it 61 or 62 days of structure build tokens? I can't recall which one it is. It's so many that I'm afraid to ask why they're doing this. I mean, there's a lot of people bitching about the Liberators. There's also the issue with something that might be coming out, that we need to have our towers at level 8, because a 12-day structure token gets you right there, and the 7 days is good for your dock and for your shipyard, because those are just short of 7 days. And then they added some more just utilitarian ones in between.
Well, two plausible theories. All right, plausible theory number 1 is we could be here soon having another base attack TLC coming.
Yeah.
Where they're hitting our bases.
Yeah.
Or the flip side of the coin, about this time last year, they came out with a TLC and dropped all them 7-day tokens on us. Remember that? And
yeah,
then,
I actually saved mine.
Yeah, and then two months later, we got OP9.
Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. I have my 7-day token that I actually only used an old one from that point that I just used last week to upgrade my shipyard. So I had saved mine for that purpose. And then we'll get into the 3 prizes: the Sulfide Deployer, which is a turret special, which seems to be pretty cool, along with the Venom Spitter, another base turret. Always nice to have new base turrets. And the Gluttony, which is a new mechanic to the game, and a messed up mechanic in the game that will get
breaks the game.
It breaks the game as the way it's implemented, but not the way it's planned.
Well, I will say this: it is definitely swinging the pendulum all the way over to base attack.
And it's also doing some other things. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't even seen any base attacks going on with it, but yeah.
Oh, I have. I've already been out hitting bases with it, and I love it. I went into a 120 that last week, sunk my fleet. I couldn't get through it. I ran in, hit it, did the first part, pulled my ships back out to the sub, repaired them, then just rocked the rest of the way through. So,
yeah, this is the first base that you encounter in this TLC. As you see, there's not a huge amount of stuff to get Bloodthirst. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, until you have to start encountering a blunderbuss and a gargoyle. So you're not, I think they were a little, they gave you a little bit more last go round as far as the ability to get Bloodthirst. And we'll zoom in here and look at some of the damage types. We got the blunderbusses, we got the gargoyles, maxims, miniguns, ballistas, executioners, and then I'm not sure what kind of cannon they're running on the alphas, but basically you're running into 3 different damage types: concussive, ballistic, and penetrating.
Yeah, so, just to be stated, if you've got a pride that's built right, you only need 1 ship and you can walk the base.
Yeah, it's extremely easy. You could have, if you have a decently built Pride, you could have your mother or your 2-year-old drive it and still get in, and probably, unless one of the two doesn't like you, probably still be instant repair. So we'll go on to the second one, which is very similar. Same weapon types. I haven't counted them on this one, but probably the same amount to get bloodthirst. More ships. Um, if you don't have a pride and you're dealing with tier 5, malice, once it gets bloodthirst, has deflection against all three of these damage types. So that would be your secondary haul if you're, or your primary haul if you're just dealing with tier 5. I know people are also using liberators and having good luck with them.
And retribution.
Retributions, okay, alrighty. And yeah, and just in case you're running, they got a couple blunderbusses back here hiding. Um, I haven't even counted. I think it appears to be this. Is it the same? No, there's not as many ballistas. Okay, yeah, they changed it up a little bit. And here's the third one.
Yeah, and the third one they got a lot more Maxim guns and stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's really the targets are so easy if you've got the tech.
If you got the pride, it's very
Yeah.
yeah. But the pride has a little bit of trouble killing the alphas. The alphas can be a little tough on like a single pride with the scatter guns going. So, and then this is prize pack 1, prize pack 2. These 3 targets plus a 71. All the remaining, these targets, 71 and 100. So if you're comfortable with all these, you just go to the end. They just require you to get it done faster and faster.
Yeah, the sad thing about the only thing I know, people who don't have the cannoneers are really, really struggling to get that 71 and that 100 done. So the gap between the haves and the have-nots is really growing because they've made this so easy for the top end players that got the tech, and anybody who's not on top is really, really struggling.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. I don't disagree with a word of that. And you could potentially just use the pride as a tank. I mean, if it's an empty pride, even though I know Nines is on chat, but he seems. Oh yeah, he doesn't have. You don't have siege battery, right, Nines? You need to have a decent build for that. And the reason I think he has that is because he's using his pride in base defense, and so there's no need for siege battery. Is that right? Is that right, Nines?
That would make sense. He wouldn't have the 50% turret defense, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I think he was having some issues. I didn't really do any comparisons. Sulfide deployer. Again, we're getting very similar to some of these other specials we got. 80% splash is we've been seeing a lot of with the fuel tank and things of that nature. We got a reload special. Again, with the 80% splash, I think they all have this 30% weapon power consumed. Okay. On the left, we have the Venom Spitter. 105 range, that like we've seen many times with our frontline turrets. And good damage. I didn't even compare it to anything else because there's nothing else that's a scattergun that's doing corrosive damage that's close in damage. And this is our first turret, turret with damage over time. I don't think we have any information on the stacks as far as how to get to max damage at this point. On the right, we got Dr. Death's build, which he's added hydroxide barrels, which adds, you see multi-shot of 7 here. It goes to 9, and it also, I think it adds 30% corrosive. But this number right here does not reflect the fact that it's gone from 7 shots to 9. So it's actually doing, we don't do math live anymore on this show, but,
Well, it's doing around 38, 39,000.
Okay. But you're including the mods on that, right?
No, because if you look at the fire support does not increase damage on a corrosive weapon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It's limited. Okay. They don't have any long-range corrosive weapons at this point either.
No, but that's why I put the range transformer on there.
And how does
10% range boost?
And as I recall, how does damage over time ignores deflection? Is that true?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this is a much more powerful, at least much more powerful than the drag scatter gun or the basilisk. So
yeah, because you get that initial hit, and I got 2 of these right now sitting side by side, so they can just pepper ships. So I can get that DOT maxed out as quick as possible.
And you also have that's on the right hand side. It's the new special, and in the and the bottom is the range extender, the ATR.
Yep.
And then the middle it's a defensive stun / whatever. What is that one?
That one's to defend against missiles, penetrating.
Okay. But does it also have a stun component?
Yeah, 40% to stun resistant, 40% penetrating defense.
Okay, and it looks like you needed. No, you didn't need that because those are only 150.
You had to. If I put any other armor on there, it would not work. So I put the solar panels on there to make it work.
Okay, okay, makes sense. Let's move on to the gluttony. Oh, I don't know if anybody's going to join us from this part at this point. I'm not sure. You're welcome to join us. The Gluttony is the new prize. It's a Tier 6 Conqueror. It's mainly meant as a support haul. George and I did a bit of experimentation with it this morning. He had some. Well, no, we'll go through that in a minute. The mechanic that this has introduced to the game is broken in probably 3 ways. The most drastic and the one that they're probably most likely going to fix in the next day or two is the fact that this is only supposed to work with Conquerors and Defenders, which have very low repair efficiency. This one's 0.04 relative to, like the Cannoneer that we just got done with the raid cycle. So the difference between 0.8 and 0.04 in repair time per armor point is 20 times. So it takes 20 times as long per armor point to repair a Gluttony as it does to repair a Cannoneer. But what we realized this morning is the Gluttony will repair anything. It will repair Cannoneers, as the example. So what happens is that you're transforming this 0.04 repair efficiency in order to fix a 0.8 repair efficiency hull. So, and the way we were doing this was, he had his Gluttony, he would send it out with a bunch of Cannoneers, hit my gunboat, and then once he repaired up, kill my gunboat. We assume you can also do this by hitting somebody's base and just sitting in it. Because there's only, basically, besides VXP Weekend, 2 ways that you can interact with the game and that's hitting a player's base and hitting a player's fleet is the only way a tier 6 Conquer Hull um, can hit anything outside of VXP Weekend, and I guess some of these TLCs that look base-like, like the one that's going on right now.
Well, no, I tested this before the show, and I took and put this hole in with I had ran my 2 icebreakers and did my FM, one run through, and they were damaged up, and then I had 2 ironclads that were damaged from collecting base parts. I put those 4 ships in with this, and I went into a small level 69 base and sat there. And this ship did not repair the other ships. It did not repair the icebreakers or the ironclads in the base attack. So it may only be working if you're on a fleet versus fleet battle.
Huh. And you were within the 75 range?
Oh yeah, I parked.
How much damage did you take? That's another part of the mechanic that we're going to talk about in a minute. Did you take, how much damage were on those hulls?
Oh, each of them probably had maybe a quarter of health left.
Okay, and that's a quarter of health on what?
A quarter health on 2 icebreakers and a quarter of health on 2 ironclads. Okay. So well over the 6,000 points.
Okay, yeah, because that's something that
individually or collectively.
No, each icebreaker was down to only having a quarter health left, and each ironclad had about a quarter health left.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, was it more than 6,000 on each hull, or was it more than 6,000 collectively?
No, it was more than 6,000 on each hull that I hadn't damaged.
So they were like half dead then.
Well, no, they were 3/4 dead. They only had a quarter health left.
Okay.
Well, something might have.
I was looking at about 18 coins of repair on that fleet.
Yeah.
So I drove into base to test that, and it didn't repair it. So
I don't know. We test. How many times did we test it, George? Like 8, 10?
Yeah, about 10, I think. It was almost a dozen times.
This was right before the show, so the Kickstarter may have already rolled a fix, or it could have just been something that only works in a fleet versus fleet.
They may have rolled a fix. I mean, they've been looking at it. I think. I mean, I'm hoping since it was reported. I mean,
yeah, because we did that like what 11 o'clock this morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm gonna. You know what? When it comes to this hole, I think Kickstarter really this. I like the hole. I've already been using it in base hits. I've been going out smashing bases using this hole. I'm liking the way it works. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going in and I'm taking out that front line, the guard ships, pulling my ships back out, repairing them with the Gluttony, and then walking the rest of the base. So I'm enjoying this. But I really think this hole is a fail on the way they designed this blueprint.
Why?
Because this is a true support ship. For one, it's only got 5 weapon slots. So it's not got, you're not going to be able to, with the current torpedoes in the game, get the DPS high enough to make this really an effective,
But Glenn, in the description it says they've developed the support-focused hull.
Right, but then
that's
why
the whole
did they
point of it?
So since it is a support-focused hull, then its stats should have reflected that. Its stats should have all been towards support and defense, so it could stay.
It gives health away.
Right, but look at it. If this thing comes up on the surface and gets shots at, it's dead. Its deflection is weak. It's got more damage bonuses for torpedoes than it does defense for the hull.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Have you never used a medic unit in another game?
Well, yeah.
They're weak. They're all weak.
Right,
I don't know a medic unit that's not weak.
Though. They're weak on attack, though.
They're weak on everything, man. They are easily killed.
You hide them. You got to figure out a way to get them to interact. They're not tanky at all, and they're fragile.
What other
wait
a second.
It's like a cleric.
Think about this for a second. You build 5 of these. You put 5 Gluttonies in a fleet. They don't get the medic part, right? But you are then running 405 concussive damage bonus.
Okay.
That's the strongest concussive damage bonus in the game. Why is that on a support ship?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's a
I
good
don't
question
know.
why they add that in there. The small stacking effect on the right hand side. I understand the field resistance, uh, and
Maybe.
maybe the combat speed. I mean, maybe they think that people will potentially they want to provide another way to use it.
Well, I
Use
was
it,
gonna say, you know,
use
they're
it as a
probably
medic.
thinking,
Use it
yeah,
as a medic, or use it to sub out a guard fleet.
I mean, the thing is it also if you're doing PvP, you know, fleet on fleet, that would come in awful handy. And
Yeah,
trying to rank it would come in awful handy as well. So
yeah. And go ahead.
I was just saying, you know, I don't. That's not that one stat is not going to dissuade me from the rest. I mean, when you look at the rest of the hull and the hull overall and its special ability, it's a support. Like there was no doubt in my mind this was a support ship. I mean, the first thing when I saw this, I said medic.
I just well see my opinion is real simple. Instead of it getting, you know, I love the ship, and like I said, I've been using it all day. I got 2 of them already built, and they're rocking for me. But I just think it should have, instead of the damage bonuses, it should have been, you know, that should have been maybe rolled over to defense. Either give us some evade or give us, you know, more deflection, something like that, just to really round out the you know, the defense support side of this ship.
Then it'd be
I don't.
even more OP than it is.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is if you bring this into a fleet versus fleet, that stat actually helps, and that's part of PvP. PvP is not just base hitting.
True.
You know what I mean? I mean, they
yeah.
probably were looking at the whole thing overall when they decided what they were going to do. I certainly don't mind it being there. I love it that it's there. I mean, it makes the breadth and scope of the hull a little bit wider.
Well,
For me,
right,
anyway.
but you're only going to get that massive stack on concussive damage if you're running 5 of these. And of course, if you're running 5 of these, you're not getting any health bonus whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, they're just providing a way to add a little creativity to how you might use them. Because how many, should we go back? How many tokens are they giving you for this? It's like,
Oh, seven 6-day tokens. I was like,
yeah. They're giving people a lot of leash to experiment with these for free. And I like that idea. You know, I like the idea that, like, we got a hull. Obviously, we have no idea what we're doing with it, but at least we're giving the players a chance to experiment with it on our dime, which, you know, I like. You know, it gives, you know, because most of the time you see these YouTube videos of somebody coming out 12 hours after the hull is released with, you know, all these skull hulls and doing something with it. It sort of
Now,
gives everyday player that chance to do that with it.
has anybody, because my base ain't been hit yet, but has anybody had a chance to test and see how these countermeasures are working?
I've not.
I've run the numbers on them as far as the stats, and they're not impressive. They're, you know, relative, because I had somebody, you know, use the idea of putting this in base defense, and I compared it to Gale 3s, Phalanx 4s on an alpha, and it's versus again, this is just with the numbers, not, you know, versus the alpha, it was about his third as good, and against mortars, it was about 80% of the Gale. So it's much better at knocking down mortars than it is missiles. But, you know, maybe we can talk about that on Friday. The table I had put together or roughed out was just too convoluted to talk about at this point until I saw numerous ones in action as part of a defense hall. I didn't want to overextend.
Yeah, and the numbers don't always reflect how something works in this game too. That's the other thing.
Well, we
Yeah,
saw that
well,
with the.
If you look at that new, if you look at that new anti-mort they just gave us,
Yep.
that thing performs just as well as a Gale 3, even though the numbers say the Gale 3 should be better.
It really depends. Yeah, it depends on the situation, I think. Because you got to realize that even with the special on, it's basically firing up one projectile per second because it's got such a low. The multi-shot is 3, so it's very low. I remember the numbers for the Phalanx 4 are better because the Phalanx 4, the cycle time I think is closer to 6 seconds, but it's putting salvo not.
Right,
Salvo.
Glenn was talking about the Hail D.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the one that
the numbers.
The Hail D. The Hail D is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Even with the numbers, I was talking about how that was underrated.
Yeah, because the numbers say the Gale 3 should be blowing the Hail D out of the water, but
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because just with the numbers, I was talking. That's what I'm saying. I was talking about it because once you skull it up, the reload rate is faster than a Judgment or a coaxial firestorm, so you don't get overtaken. So just looking at the numbers, you can tell that it's going to perform better on a hull that has frontline countermeasures or something like the Alpha or the Gamma that has all these accuracy buffs. That it's going to outperform it, just because you don't have the Judgment mortars firing again before you can shoot at them again. The issue might come into play a little bit with something like the Panda morts, which are faster than the new Hail D. So you could see that coming in the numbers. So I don't know if that's the best example.
Well, on face value, it looks like it's worse.
Yeah, the first glance, it does look like it's worse, based on the fact that the accuracy numbers and whatnot, until you start comparing the reload times and whatnot. I don't know when to talk about the other issues with this hull, besides the fact that, maybe we can test it out again. Maybe we'll do a live test later in the show and figure out if we still have that same issue that we had this morning, where cannoneers and ironclads and other ships.
Mine's completely dead right now, and I'm trying to do part of my campaign.
Okay, all right.
I died horribly earlier in the campaign.
We'll explain this. So basically, the other part of this is we're going to get more into this, but the range is 75 as far as how far away you can be to donate, cannibalize your armor points to other ships. Is cold snap immune? Yeah, we'll get into this in a little bit. And
it's a really good hull. I really like this hull.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I got 2 of them built, and I'm loving them.
Yeah. And we'll go back to the other one. Transfer amount indicates how much health is transferred from this ship to an allied ship. Okay. Rate, how often it occurs. Number of target indicated how many ships within range can benefit from this ability. And the efficiency is basically a tax that you're basically spending about 5% more. The Gluttony is giving up 5% more than it's giving.
Yep. I call it an efficiency coefficient. I mean, an efficiency ratio.
Okay.
About 0.95.
Which is not bad. Which really is not bad. I mean, for this is the first time we've had a ship do this in the game, and I like the dynamic of what it's doing. One thing needs to be pointed out: you really need to look carefully about what you're doing when you start putting armors on this ship.
Oh yeah.
You really kill the repair efficiency quick.
Yeah. The way that we're reusing it, I'm not sure if we've gotten that across. That basically hitting gunboats. Yeah, well, I'm not sure when to get into what I think will be the use of this hull. The what do you call it with medications? Like they give you one medication that you're not meant off-label use. of this hull.
Supplementary uses or something.
Off-label, yeah. Like, they'll give you, because Viagra was originally like a heart medication. So,
Oh yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
yeah, I mean, an off-label use. I mean, it's been sold as something that you run with your fleet, and it repairs you in real time. But you can also take your fleet out after it's been damaged and repair it by, engaging somebody's base, hitting somebody's ship that's, hitting a gunboat. There's a lot of things out there that you can, those things that you can basically boost the efficiency of these hulls, even if you have a Conqueror or Defender, but only if that Conqueror or Defender has armor plates on it, because the repair efficiency of all the tier 6 Conquerors is lower, meaning they repair faster per armor point than the Gluttony. But once you start adding things in like penetrative plate 4, I ran the numbers on that earlier, and if you use the Gluttony to repair it, because that's adding on a point, it's adding on 40 minutes per, is it 3,000 armor? It's something, but basically you've taken your half-hour repair time on, say, your Liberator, and you made it 2.5 hours, but you really haven't added that much more armor to it. And
but the flip side of the coin of what I'm talking about is the Gluttony itself. If you start, it's got 10 armor slots on it. But now when you start adding that extra armor on, you're really increasing the amount of repair time and really losing that repair efficiency, because, like if you put a Reaver bulkhead on, you get 6,000 armor points, right? But you're adding an hour and a half repair time to that Gluttony. So now you got 2.5 hours, and you only got one more pulse of healing from that ship for that increase.
I think that's the next click on the slide is what you're talking about. All right. Well, what point was that? Let me let me see what I'll. Okay. This is what you can do for. You get 6-day build tokens with the Gluttony. These deep sea countermeasures give you, it's a 0.1 repair efficiency, so it doesn't raise it that much. And you can do something else with this hull afterwards. You can build from there, but it's 5 days, 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 53 seconds. So you're losing 3 minutes off of your 6-day token just to build this, which can do what we were talking about earlier. So it's going to take that 110,000 armor, and I think it's an hour and 15-minute repair in order to feed it to another ship. And this is in potentially non-real battle mode. So I think, is this what you're talking about?
Right. Right now, 100. You got 110,000 armor points, which you can't actually use them all. The ship has to maintain a slight bit of health. It'll stop once it gets down to a certain point where it can no longer give out 6,000 points.
Do we know that number?
Yeah, I tested that, and once you get down to under 6,000 points, it stops pulsing.
Okay, well, yeah, that's something that we need to cover.
But what I was talking about on that.
Yeah, don't use the 10 armor slots. That's why I put this build and didn't use any of these armor slots, because all those armor slots are going to take that repair efficiency, and you can bring it up to 0.5, and it's what we're talking about is no longer economical if you're using it for like an after battle repair. You might want to,
or even an in battle repair. I mean, like I said, I've been hitting bases today using this ship, right, with no armor on it. And I'll run in, pull out the frontline turrets, pull out the guard, come back out, repair, then make my charge for the middle island. And it's been working great. I've been loving it. I mean, the tactic works sound.
Yeah.
But if I put a bunch of armor on here, then the repair cost goes clear through the roof.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about associated with what this is. I guess I should have put better graphics together for this, but that's what we're talking about fixing, because this is, what are most of them? Are they like 125 for an hour?
Mm-hmm.
But once you start putting armor on them, then you get to like 134 for 2.5 hours. These are the things you're trying to heal. Now you add 10 armor slots onto this thing because you're adding like 4,000 armors for 40, half an hour or 40 minutes. The numbers are completely different. And this is, you're just driving your efficiency. Yeah. Your repair times are just going to skyrocket at that point. And this thing could have crazy long repair times. If you started, if we had on 40 minutes per slot, 40 minutes, 80 minutes, 120 minutes, 160 minutes, 200 minutes.
But because of the fact that it does pulses at 6,000 points, right? And once you get under 6,000 points, it won't pulse anymore. To get another full pulse out of this thing, you've got to add an additional 6,000 points of armor. The only armor in the game that will give you that 6,000 point threshold to gain that extra pulse is a Reaver Bulkhead. But a Reaver Bulkhead's going to add an hour and a half repair every one you put on.
Yeah, you don't want to use that, because the Reaver Bulkhead has a 0.8 repair efficiency. The worst in the game besides the research armors, which are 1.0. So that's, the Reaver Bulkhead is the worst one, one of the worst ones. This also includes, the evade armor, the stealth armor, a lot of these armors with very high repair efficiencies. So with what they've given you, you said how many of these things do we have?
There's 10 armor slots.
No. How many build tokens for 6 days?
7 6-day build tokens.
Okay. So you could build 7 like this with the build tokens that you've been given, and then decide how to build them later. But what I'm saying, you can use 7 of these to basically donate a little over 100,000 armor to your other ships, and then slow repair them or do whatever with them.
That is true.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're going to want to use 1 or 2 in battle, maybe you fill all these armor slots up. But I don't decide that's the build for all of them. I would do a build. What I'm saying is, I would do a build like this, and just use them as like one of those portable cell phone chargers. I'm gonna, plug that into my phone, get power again, and then I'll go slow charge that again. But I still can use my cell phone, which is one of my other ships. So. But I think we need to talk about some other things associated with this haul. In the case of the Gluttony, every 4 seconds it will send out a pulse that can heal up to 6,000 damage. That's a weird wording based on what it is. 6,000 is the maximum amount that each target can be healed for. 6,000 is also the minimum amount that each target can be healed for, based on what we saw, right, George? It's not, if you have 5,999 damage, unless there's some weird thing going on with multiple ships, it's not gonna start healing until you hit this 6,000 threshold.
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, we didn't do a specific test. I just happened to notice that when we tried it on the first test, and I just carried that presumption throughout the testing. But thinking back on it, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it might be that's the first trigger for it, and then after that, it goes. I mean, we honestly have to do a little bit more testing, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some weird things that will come out. The other thing is, I think that we learned last night on the TFC show from Laredo is this ship will get 1 VXP per transfer, which right now we're assuming is 6,000 per transfer. I don't know. We need to do more testing. So basically, out of this hull, um, we can get 16 VXP if it dies, or comes close to dying via donating, which is higher than the minimum, hitting cargoes or whatever. I don't know. Can you think of anything else in the gluttonies? No?
I think it's going to be an interesting hull. I mean, I'm thinking, maybe build 2 or 3 of them, blank like you had, but I know I'm going to definitely have at least one loaded the hell out with armor to be a chaser.
Okay. And the medic.
Medic.
Yes. So yes, the young lady is preparing a sub. So we're gonna go through some sub killing turrets real quick.
Okay. Did Hefe's mic drop?
Well, I lost all sound there for a minute, so I refreshed, but I'm not hearing Hefe at all.
I'm not hearing Hefe at all either.
Hello?
No, I've been having a bad connection. There you go. All right, I'm going to refresh because I'm having all sorts of connection issues right now, I think. Be right back.
What the hell happened?
Hey, so we lost Hefe?
Hello?
Yeah, I think he's back.
Alrighty then.
What is going on?
Fun times. I have no idea what just happened, but I was having, like, you were skipping.
Yeah,
on my end, you were skipping. I
having
thought it was my
issues.
connection.
I'm not sure if anybody else out there heard us, but yeah, I was just,
I saw your mouse moving. I didn't hear anything from you. I was like, oh, my connection's really bad then. But I guess not. I don't know.
So yeah, no, I refreshed. Well, I'm not sure how much they missed, but
I can tell you where you stopped. You stopped after you said medic. That was it.
okay. Well, let's move on then. I can't recall what I said after that. And the sub killing turrets.
Yeah.
All I'm listing on the left is things that will hit underwater.
And
you have to present, dude.
Yeah, you're not presenting anymore.
Okay. Yeah, the Google Hangouts have been getting squirrelier and squirrelier recently.
Yeah, the links as well. We had problems with TSM's stream as well.
Yeah, basically on the left-hand side, we have a list of everything that will do submerged damage, which means that you most likely need to have a thermal defender to spot them before these can even fire. And then on the right-hand side, if you add in the SSKP, which is special, we didn't get. What did we get? We got that with the hyena. You can equip it to the executioner, hyena, and vulture, and then they will retarget, which means that they will hit submerged targets. And on the right, you have a young lady making a sub. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. When you were quiet after that, I was afraid I went silent again.
No. I was just a little distracted. That's all.
I see. So, okay. I guess we can move on, and also anything that could hit subs down below before. I mean, the alpha has 90 range, which is nice. What's kicking? I can't recall what's kicking out there. There's some things kicking out there with 95 thermal. There's a couple hulls out there with 95, but okay. But I'm just saying, as far as ways to potentially stop them in your base. And the other thing I thought about, if you have a ship leading, and these things are sort of feeding it, and they're trying to blitz past you, a lot of these are splash weapons. So if they're trying to zoom past you, there's a good chance they're going to get caught in the afterdraft. And the glacier, so, and the glacial launcher covers the whole half of your base. So it'll be interesting how they'll come into play. And I haven't had a chance to see too many videos today on how these work. And I just brought these out to show us, what we've already got in the FM to pair with them. And we've talked about most of this stuff before, but just a reminder, the countermeasure reload only works with the next special, deep sea countermeasures, or the Trident as far as increasing reload. The rest of them have anti-penetrating or anti-mortar type stuff. So it's a different damage type, and that won't really help you out. And I will do more on this. Again, we were talking about the multi-shot is 3, and the reload is 5. But if you start looking at the other ones, the salvos and the rest of them are much higher as far as comparing with the Phalanx and the Gale 3. So it doesn't really surpass any of those on a surface hull. So you just need to hope that being underwater is helpful to you. Uh-oh. Preview server. Oh my goodness. You want to talk a little bit on this while I go get a beer?
I don't see anything on. Is there a preview server slide? What? Oh, there it goes.
See it? Yeah.
I got it.
Why don't you talk about your icebreaker experience?
I actually didn't do bad. I got it down to 4 of them doing the target for 31 minutes of damage. I think the lowest I got was 24. It was hovering around 1 gold a pop. I did use the new special off of this that came. The high yield warheads, actually. But other than that, I mean, the mortar. I hope they just lower the volume, the weight of those. Those things were heavy. The weight, trying to figure out the weight on the monolith was a task, very much a task. The target was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed the target. I just think it was way too big for an A set target. That one I had an issue with. I don't know. Glenn, did you get in?
No, I didn't make it in. But I watched the streams, the videos and stuff people were putting up on it.
What'd you think?
My curiosity is, though, what makes the monolith outshine a Harlock Citadel fleet?
I don't know. I mean, the way that we saw it today.
Yeah, I'm going to click the next button.
Hard pressed. I would be hard pressed to go, hey, I want to build that if the stats stay the same. I mean, and it was a preview server, so the tweaking stuff and all that crap. So I don't know that I would say these are the final stats, but the way that they stand right now, I don't know that it's
Yeah,
worth the shipyard time to go away from Citadels if you already got them in the Harlock.
yeah. On the right hand side is the monolith, and on the left hand side is a normal Citadel. Mine's R4, but and you need to consider if you have a Harlock Citadel, you'll get at plus 100 projectile speed, so you could sort of carry that over here. You're missing the ship DPS, the structure DPS, the assault deflection, the siege deflection, and you're 203 miles an hour slower on the map. And you have the same repair efficiency.
Right, but also
I'm just going to say the other thing that I had a problem with them, they were really slow, and going through that target, I mean, it was a big freaking target. You know, it was fine with the icebreaker. I mean, it wasn't fine, but I mean, it was much better with the icebreaker because I just plowed through the damn thing. But with these, when I was driving these, damn, I was not enjoying myself. There was no fun in that at all for me.
George, you've gone robotic, buddy.
I can hear him fine. I think you might have gone robotic.
I need to refresh then.
Okay. And I posted the address, the link for anybody that wants to join us, because we're running towards the end of our slides. But yeah, at this point, there's no positive difference except for increased weight and increased armor that goes along with the same. Oops. Oh yeah, that's the other disappointing part. But here's
the catch: the mortar is so freaking heavy. You know, you can't. It's not like you're going to be able to go, oh well, I'm just going to refit them to your Citadel. It's not. You're not going to refit them to your Citadels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, is it really worth, you know, all the buffs that you get with that Harlock plus a regular fleet of Citadels combined? You know, entice me to get this thing, because right now I am not enticed.
Well, another thing that I noticed was look at the remote targeting fall off. It's 25% on this hull, but it's only 20% on a Citadel.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's an oversight, because I think that was base numbers for the Citadel originally, was it not? Like if you haven't
I forget. Yeah, mine's at R4, so, and you have to pay to get to R5. So this is the best you can do without buying shards.
I mean, I understand that mortar is powerful as all get out, but it's not that much more powerful than the Judgments, and you know I don't know.
And we haven't seen the data mining. And we haven't seen the data mining on it, because we know that with mortars, especially, they hide so much stuff in the data mine. You know, they hide projectile speed, minimum splash. There's all this stuff that gets hidden in the data mining that they should really be putting out there, you know, if they want people to build with it. Because what's the point in hiding projectile speed? What's the point in hiding minimum splash? You know, to show that one's better than the other and make an educated decision.
Well, here's the thing. I've got freaking like 20 days worth of Citadel build tokens sitting in my thing, and I'm just curious if it wouldn't be better for me to use those and just put the new special on my Citadels.
Yeah, I mean that's just, well, you're not gonna. I think because of the weight, you're not gonna be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then we also have the high yield warheads, which it seems like a good special.
I used that on my icebreaker.
Icebreakers?
Yeah, I did. I have to admit, I did.
Tons of splash, building damage, projectile speed. I assume this doesn't stack with high velocity rounds, or does it?
It does not. I think we checked.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it does.
Yeah.
So what makes
that would be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we checked it and it doesn't.
Okay.
Because Brian, I think that was one of the first things that Brian wanted to know. Because he loves high velocity rounds.
Yeah, and the big thing that's missing that you got to assume it's going to come back in there is the assault deflection and siege deflection. Why did they just completely leave it off of that all?
I don't know. And, you know, like I said, I mean, it was a test server. I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that they're looking at it again, because, like I said, I want to be enticed into getting this. And right now, it's just not doing it for me.
And
And
what
what
is
makes
our?
that the skill hole?
Excuse me?
I missed that question.
Sorry, what makes that the skill hole?
Because they said it was.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I don't know how you make a remote mortar a skill hull. I mean,
We've been
unless
talking
they're
about it for weeks,
planning,
right?
yeah. I mean, they could be coming out with this and a tank. I mean, who the hell knows at this point? Because no one
Yeah,
tells us.
because we have no tank at this point. I mean, the icebreaker originally looked like a tank until they modified it and dropped the resistances from 80 to 60, and then required you to have a bunch of them in order to get back up to that 80% base.
Mark did test an icebreaker as a tank, and he actually built it as a tank, and it did rather well. I think he got it to 30 minutes repair.
Yeah, because
with it.
it's just the repair efficiency of it over the Zelos is so much better.
Yeah, the repair efficiency is it 0.5? Yeah, it's 0.5 versus 1 for the Zealous.
So yeah.
Yeah, but hypothetically, you could be doing that with zombies. So
Well,
I
yeah,
see
I
what he's
guess
saying.
so. But you wouldn't be putting the rockets on it. You would be putting like a launcher on it, right?
Hey, what was the range of the cold snap turrets in the target? Just for
I think it was just shy of 90, but that's just my opinion.
just trying to think if you need a certain weapon to spot, and if some weapons don't work as well, since they wouldn't be as long of a range.
Yeah, I think it was right around 90, but we'll have to see. Yeah, that's why I was trying to on TSM's stream. I was trying to convince them to make an icebreaker with a launcher and all antis, and see how that performed. Because the antis are also going to add to his resistances, and it might be, unless I missed that part of the show, because that seems like that would be the best tank, since the chaser hulls that come out will stop once they're in range. They're not like the ones that are like, okay, we're gonna slow down and then we're gonna circle around to the back and get your weak ships. These ones were just stopping as soon as they got in their weapon range, and therefore you could get them with your citadels, monoliths, Empyreans, or whatever.
I just right now though, with the way the stats are, the weight of that mortar and then the unimpressive stats on the whole, Hickseye is going to need to change something there. It's just not really. I don't see it being viable to tie up the shipyard for a long period of time or waste the time ranking this hole when you've already got the Harlock Citadel and Citadel Fleet built.
I mean, the last time we saw a preview for the raid, was it the Cannoneers or the Ironclads? It was the Cannoneers, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember last time I think they tweaked the hull. They tweaked the hull as well from the preview server to what they actually released. So I would kind of. Okay, I actually do expect them to change it, because right now I don't want to actually get this, which is a bad, meta or metric, if you're trying to get me to get it, right? But just going by their own history, I think that they're probably going to change something, at least tweak something in it, because.
No, you know what they're going to do, George? Here's what they're going to do, right? They're going to leave it like it is, right? But they're going to put the high-skilled warheads as being the top price.
Hold on a second. When you start going, here's what they're going to do, right? Like that, the way you just did it, I'm like, you need to stop putting on the tinfoil hat for me, because that's what I picture. That's what I picture every time now. It's like, man, because he's like, hold on. And he grabbed it last time. And never mind. Anyway, sorry. It's just. That's what I picture now, because he did was like a thing. Oh, never mind.
Does that ship have a field resistance?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought I didn't see it on there earlier when I looked real quick. And it doesn't have thermal either, so you're just gonna be running over mines. So really, it's kind of second fiddle to the Empyrean, then, isn't it?
The mines aren't hidden. The mines are floating up on top of the water.
Yeah, and you can't kill them.
You can't shoot them. Yeah, you can't shoot them. You can kill them, but to kill them means you have to run your fat ass over them, and they hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting one of those concussive weapons on mine. I guess I'll
It
steer
will
off in that
not
direction.
work. I've been saying this crap all day long, and even when I tell people that you can't target them, which means you can't kill them, they still like, well, you should be able to do it with missiles, and no, you can't. Well, how about no, you can't? Well, how about no, you can't. You cannot fucking kill them, okay? It's really simple. The only way you can kill them is by suiciding on the sons of bitches.
Now, see, I actually disagree with that. I don't think that's the way it should be. Kicksai needs to change that.
They're floating mines. I mean,
There might as well be walls then.
Yeah, they might as well be walls because,
walls don't hurt.
If something can attack us, we should be able to attack it.
Walls don't hurt. These do. I mean, they
That's
have to
what
put skill, they have to put
You're not
skill,
getting
like a
grappled.
skill level in it somewhere, and that's the skill level they put in. You're gonna avoid these, or you're gonna get hurt.
Oh, well, I
That's
do
like-
understand. I do understand that skill level, but then where do we get our, reward for having a skill fleet and driving with skill so that we have that chance of the perfect run and no damage? Because so far, I'm not seeing that being offered to us.
That's your reward. Your reward is not getting any damage.
Right, but what I'm talking about is in these targets, that's not going to be possible with the current ships and builds that they've given to us.
It was done. It was done.
Someone
I saw
actually in the preview ran the target, killed everything in the target, and took 0 damage.
Took instant repair damage, under 5 minutes of damage.
I took 10 minutes and 12 minutes with my icebreaker fleet, running a special build with all current weapons, current specials, current weapons, none of the new stuff.
And that was just
But
icebreaker?
You're gonna have to share that with me, Holsh.
Yeah, but the thing is, because I went all missile defense, so if I hit a mine or if I drove bad to make a cold snap hit me, then it costed a lot of repair. But
so hold
without
on.
that,
How fast are you doing the targets? Because I am not gonna sit my ass and put.
No, it's not that fast.
Target.
It's not that. I mean, not that slow at all. I mean, it's pretty fast.
Because I just blew through the damn target.
Let me ask you a quick question. This will probably be very helpful for a lot of people that are building right now. Are we looking at the concussive damage being pretty high to where resistors will be useful over the engine?
I mean, I put it on just out of habit because that's one of my favorite specials. I get them every chance I get.
Mm-hmm. But for people that might be I probably don't have a ton of them in there. Is it worth me using 5 out of my 7 or 10?
I don't know.
I mean, the smart way might put it on the number 1 hull and just have it slightly ahead.
That's a pain in the ass to drive.
Well, whatever. If you don't have 5, if you don't have 5 and you just want to use 1, just put it on 1 hull and make sure it's your sort of lead hull. I mean, it's one suggestion.
I don't think it really had that much damage at all.
I didn't even see the torpedo towers firing, honestly. I mean, they could have. I'd have to go back and check. But
that's been a bug that people have been complaining about recently, is they don't see them firing.
Maybe they aren't firing now.
Yeah, or we just not. I don't know.
They're just
You never know with this game.
towers.
Yeah. George, do you want me to screen share your icebreaker hit, or you not want me to do that?
If you want, yeah. I mean, I'm actually trying to run part of this bloody campaign, so I'm not on that screen actually.
Well, it only takes like a minute and a half, so I was thinking I could share that with everybody so they could know what you were talking about. I'm going to take myself off present and try and go find that.
Okay, let me know when I have to come back because I have to try this 7135, whatever the hell this thing is.
71, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great TLC, wasn't it?
My fleet last time I did this got stuck on a wall. Like, I mean, stuck on a wall. The walls were already up. It's not like they surfaced underneath me. They were already up. I went to go in between 2 of them, and I got stuck. And I was like, what the hell?
That happened to Brian last week, didn't it?
I was so I was screaming at this thing. I was so pissed off.
Oh wait, I just that reminded me of something. There's one more click that I wanted to share with everybody that I found a little bit disturbing.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Complete all mastery rounds of the Siren Song campaign. Now, if the
Oh, that's
Siren
probably
Song,
next week's.
yeah,
That's probably next week's TLC.
Oh,
yeah, which is for the
rounds.
monolith.
Right.
So
Rounds.
rounds. Yeah, mastery
Well-
rounds. That means you got to win each one individually.
But
Not
it could
necessarily.
it could just be like this one,
Not
where it's just
necessarily.
build tokens and the XP tokens.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
that
yeah.
round.
Yeah, you know, here's
I'm
the
not,
thing.
Maybe.
I'm not saying that's necessarily what's going on, but yeah,
Right.
That
But I mean,
was-
think about who we're talking about. How many times do they just copy and paste stuff and then just go, "Oops, that's not what we really meant."
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, come on now.
90 million points in 15 minutes, back-to-back months.
And I don't see. You know, this is not a PvP hole. We're talking about tech that's going to be required for the player base for the next year. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't see them limiting this hole.
Yeah, they
No,
could
it's
just
not a
bring it back
limited
every
hull.
month.
It's not going to be a limited. It's not going to be a limited hull. I think that what it might be is either because look, it's the week before the raid, right? And there are people that didn't get the icebreaker, and it is the skill hull. So, I mean, I could see them giving us, you know, a mastery round where they give us just enough tokens to get like some blanks out, so that way people that coin, like, you know, Glenn, filthy coiner, will get them all done and cruise through his raid. You know.
I am not a filthy coiner.
Filthy corner. So you know, things like that. I can totally see him doing that, and I have no problem with that. That's actually, I think that's a fantastic, you know, business plan. Give
long as
us
it scales.
just enough. Give us just enough to get out like the hull, a weapon, and like half the specials, and then the filthy coiners can, you know, be filthy coiners and get them all out for raid and trounce our asses for raid. That's fine. I can live with that. Thanks for paying for the game. I mean.
Well, unless they drop a tank, I can't see how the icebreaker is not the skill hole, to be honest. Even though it's going to be the auto hole. It's going to be the one you want.
I don't know. I liked it. I mean, I like driving them because, and that's the thing is, like, I like the Apollos because you're always moving, right? I like these because I drove them. I was always moving. I'm sure that you can probably get much better if you take your time, but that's not the way I like to drive. So, yeah, I don't know. Like the Cannoneers in the 101, is it? Oh, the 100. I like that in terms of the mechanic of the target. I didn't like the splash, but then the 107 I couldn't stand because it was all, you know, move, stop, move, stop, move, stop, move. Screw that shit.
Well, I like the cannon.
Like the Apollo, I still think the Apollo is probably one of the best PvE hulls that they came out with in terms of fun factor.
Agreed. Because you could play it at different styles. You didn't need two different ships to have two different styles.
Yeah,
could
it was
auto it
very,
with-
it was very enjoyable hull.
With a build, you could auto. You could, with a good build, you could auto, or you could drive it and take less damage. And that was the best they've released last year.
Do you want me to start showing your? Your icebreaker.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get out of this thing then.
Well, if you want to finish, I can.
got
Can you
time,
still
so I
start
can-
the screen share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Screen share. Put myself on present. Alrighty. I'm gonna pause here, I guess, at the build. You know, you got tricky with the trident. You know,
I did.
since,
I did, and
So
I was trying to test. I was trying to test the a conventional armor build because, you know, not everyone got 200 million points worth of armor. So yeah, I was messing around with that, and I put the trident and a Gale 2, I think, or a Gale 3 on there to try and mitigate some of the damage.
Three, yeah.
And then threw on as much as I can. And I'm gonna tell you, this will barely fit. And that's all my stuff's upgraded. So shipyard and dock are upgraded, and that barely fit.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as you watch the video, this is the level 83, which we assume was the new tier 5/A set.
I would say A set because I think what they did is they bumped it up one because now we got tier 6 hulls.
Well, I'm saying tier
that
5
follows.
/ ASA, or
Yeah.
I'm just and look how many coins George has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you filthy coiner.
Yeah,
wish.
yeah.
It's funny. I'm 104 right there, but really, if you go in my game right now, I'm 103. So that's that's interesting too.
Okay. We're probably
A lot of
building
refits.
some refits and yeah.
Lots of refits.
Okay, and you have a new special explosive for what is the new
Garrison
siege
battery, whatever the hell it's called.
Garrison battery, yeah. And then the one that does penetrating and explosive and hydraulic resistor. And anything else we want to point out before I let it go? Okay. Oh, and we see holes in the bottom left.
Oh yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Didn't even look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first test server that I didn't even talk in comms once. I was too damn busy in this one.
Yeah. But this will give people an idea that didn't watch anything or participate how large this target is. And this target is already previously damaged, not completely, but just a little bit.
Just a little bit on that front one. That's why I took it. I was like, the hell with it. It's close enough.
And even with thermal or sonar, you can't shoot at these mines.
No, you cannot. You cannot kill these mines unless you run them over, which is why you see me trying to weave my way through them. And now this area...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this area, when these ships come in, like, I have a huge problem with the ships moving. That's not a garrison target to me, right? And this is probably one of the worst ones that I did because I actually had to leave that center safe zone. Usually I was going around in a circle, and it was enough to kill them and keep them on the outside and not get hit by the mortars. And I think I walked into one of the mortar sets here. Wow, this thing's really sped up. Is it jumpy for everybody, or is it just...
I cut it down to half speed because you had it at 400%, right?
I had it at 300. Yeah, because it was otherwise it was going to be a 6-minute video of some crap.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably have to rewind because it took me a while to get to that point. Why don't we rewind it a little bit and still take a minute or two, just so people can get an idea what the target looks like.
In the test server, did you try the new armors?
Yes, I did.
And
well, it's funny. Stu and Mark both had very good results with the new armors. When I put them on this, I did not. I had over double the damage using the new armors.
Yeah,
which does not make me happy.
I did one run with like every iron icebreaker with different armors on it. So the one with all the 2x2Ms, it took the most damage from the charged armor with charged armors. Really? Then the one with
good
1x and 1M took the second most damage. Then the third one was all regular M1 or X1, just the regular armors that we have. The last one, which took the least damage, which was kind of surprising, was just 1 M charged armor and just regular armor the rest of the way. Which was weird.
Well, I wanted to go back and look at some of the videos and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out if it's like some targets where it's lopsided in damage, in which case, instead of using the combo armor, you might want to use reactive and then go from there,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going on. Because like if you drive right in this target, you can avoid all explosive damage.
Yeah, well, clearly I didn't want to wait. I was just charging at everything. I don't like stopping.
Did you try autoing at all, George?
I did not. But Raina did, and she got, I think, 4 coins of damage autoing it with icebreakers, with 4 icebreakers. I haven't seen what build she used, but I mean that was impressive.
Can I just say, George, as well, that ships have been moving since 27 strongholds, right at the beginning, when they first changed them. They've always
Well,
moved.
no.
Not since,
That was
not since-
before. That was before they announced the class structure, or the tier, like the siege, garrison, whatnot. They made rules at that point in time.
I thought they said whether they'll move or not move in garrison targets.
Once they came up with this structure with garrison, assault, skirmish, conqueror, defender, yada yada yada, they created definitions, and at that point the garrison hall, the garrison targets did not move.
Right.
Was the definition that was given to us.
The assault
Prior
target's
to that,
the
they
one-
did.
Yeah. The assault target's the one that's supposed to move. Garrison's not supposed to move. Siege isn't supposed to have ships. And skirmish is supposed to be all ships.
Those ships look fast too.
Well, the reason they look fast is he's got it on 300%, and I only slowed it down 50%, so it's still at 150.
I mean, they were pretty decently fast. Not as fast.
31 minutes. 31 minutes repair.
So that's like 3 points for an ASET.
Well, one ASET target, yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to be 3 targets, so I'm looking at like 3 points. Or
1.5 minutes though. You've got a 1 coin repair there, haven't you? Which you'll really like.
Right, but that still what irritates me about this though. Even if you get it down to where you're say doing 1 target for get it down to where you're doing a target for 10. You got 3 targets to complete a set, so you're still looking at a coin. You're still running that impossibility of doing the perfect run where you take 0 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, when you said to Kickside, not you personally, but when people said to Kickside that they're not bothered about paying 1 coin for 1 million points, how many points is that A set?
That's not what they actually said. Then that wasn't the question that was asked either.
Okay,
that 1 for 1 was a question to the people that coin that want to get it done very quickly, right? That want to hit the S targets. What do they expect for a rate of return?
Yeah. And
that's what the consensus was. That was specifically asked to the people that want to coin to finish the raid quickly.
They'd be willing to pay 1 coin per million.
Right,
Yeah,
to
not
get the
to
raid
grind.
done like in a couple hours after it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
To actually just blitz the target and not worry about the damage.
George, did you notice that Trident do anything against the rockets, or did you not even have to see it fire?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Did you see did the Trident mitigate any of the rocket pellets?
I have not. I did not get a chance to actually even review the damn video. I actually threw up because someone had asked for it, and I was doing it while I was doing something else. So I actually have like 3 or 4 of them I want to go through and watch and see what happened on each build and stuff, and see how the mechanics on the target play out. I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. I ain't doing it tonight. When I get some free time tomorrow, I might do it. It's not going anywhere. We still got, 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good though for just kind of running through the target. But if that's going to be, if we're going to have to hit 2,000 of those targets.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Yeah. Does the Trident give you any? Doesn't give you any
Defense buffs? No.
Yeah. So I'm sort of wondering if you threw on something that added like a 15% defense buff, Gale 3s or whatever, would that actually?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little upset because I was doing a lot of testing with the charged armors, and I was having all sorts of having to refresh like every 2 seconds to try and get my ships out of the shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a bunch of stuff that I wanted. I still had like about 6 builds that I wanted to try, and it was a short test server. It was only 2 hours, so.
Yeah, and they didn't let me in.
I didn't let you in.
No.
Which, you know what? While we're live on the air, I want to say something because I see it every time on the forums. Okay, they only have a limited number of spots, and everybody competes to try and get in those limited number of spots. And I know on forums, everybody talks about how Kickside's got their Sunshine group that's in every single one of the test servers. Yes, there is a group of players that gets on every test server, but those players are given a different access than the ones that are publicly put out for the community. We're competing for them 300 slots that are available, and you need to stop crying about it. The reason Kickside gives certain players that advantage, and it's not even an advantage, they put them in there because they're promoting the Kickside product. They're putting out streams for the community so the players that can't get in have a chance to see what the target looks like, see what the new tech looks like, and get a chance to learn. So stop ragging every time there's a test server on Kickside about that, because all of us out there that ain't in that small group all have an equal chance to get in one of them 300 slots.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not even going to comment on that.
I'll comment though. I tried 3 times to put that code in and it kept going back to the login page, and then on 3rd time it says you're too late.
Yeah, that's always happened to me every single time.
Yeah. Mainly
I
it's
try it every time as well.
whoever has the fastest internet and refreshes the most.
Or uses multiple
It
windows.
is.
Or uses multiple windows. I know. I mean, that's how I used to do it. Was I would have multiple windows. I'd have the login screen loaded on one window. I'd have the forums on the other window, and the second that he put that on, it was copy paste and just wail away on it. I mean, there was several of them in a row that I had. Me and my son both got in that way. I mean, that's. I mean, granted, now everyone's going to try and do it. Fine, but that's how I used to do it. Was
That's
2
how I
windows.
was. That's how I was doing it though.
Yeah, me too.
But the
That's
bottom
why I
line
didn't do
is,
that.
when Kickside says there's such a set number of slots available for the player base to compete for to get into, those slots are there. And the players that are getting in every time, those players are being given a different access, and they're not taking away from the slots that Kickside is offering to the basic community. That's all I'm trying to point out, because everybody keeps saying, swearing up and down, that Kickside has already picked who's going to be in the test server and no one else gets in. And that's not true.
And sometimes you get people that are in there that don't even test it, like that one time. I think it was last preview server. It's like a level 43 in there.
Well, there was
It's
guys in this one that was going around and sinking ships with their subs. I mean, what the fuck, man? Seriously?
Yeah. But the people that get in every test server, you guys don't need to rag on them. Kickside gave them that access because they do streams. They're doing videos, which is to help out the player base and to promote Kickside's product. Kickside is a business. They want that free promotion. So, you guys got to accept that. It's just the way it is. And stop, hating on the people that get in there every time, like the guys from Forsaken Council or even Price is Wrong. Them guys get in every time, but that's because they're promoting the product. And it's not taking away any of the slots that Kickside has allotted for the player base. We still all got the same amount of chance to get in. It's just who has got, it could be so many factors, your internet connections, if you refresh, when he posts that up, everybody's trying to refresh. If you're one of the first person to get it and get it in, you get into the thing. But, just a lot of things.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, I wish they would do more of them. Honestly, I really do, and I would probably like to see them a couple. Rather than the same time every time, maybe like usually do it at usual time, and then every once in a while, do an extra one and do it at 3 hours or 4 hours later, because it's California, and that way you can give other people a chance to get home and try it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I fully agree with that. And you all know me. I got the tinfoil hat theory. I wear my tinfoil hat. I'm not one to defend Kickside, but on this aspect, I have to defend Kickside because, there's no sense in ragging on all these different people just because they got into the test server.
Wait, so does that mean you have to put on a fur hat for this one?
Yeah, probably, but I don't have my fur hat with me at the moment.
Oh, we're gonna have to get him a fur hat, like one of those Russian ones.
Let's be honest.
Big
The reason why
Russian
Hefe, conspiracy, and the reason why Hefe never gets in the test server because he's busy getting a beer.
Yep, that's exactly it.
He gets the code, go gets a beer, and comes back and puts it in.
He's like, son of a bitch. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the target was fun. I think the mines are a little bit overkill. I don't know that I want to do that much. Like, I don't want to do that much driving, especially on a lower target. You know, like that thing reminded me of an S target, not an A target.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me too.
I was like, man, come on. And you know, it's a 3, so that means it's the middle target. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see the. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Right.
It was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun. I like driving around, like, you know, fast and blowing shit up with rockets because it's a fun mechanic. It really is. But damn,
Yeah,
that's gonna get real tiring real quick. Especially if we have to score a ton of, like, if they have those armors again, and you need another 200 million to get another friggin', I'm gonna murder somebody.
Oh, that would just be freaking. Well, that's only a 4-day raid on top of that. And look at the time constraint. You know, we were able to knock out the S set last raid, you know, in what, less than 10 minutes, and it was done.
Yep.
You know, you were rocking out over 6 million points, 6.5 million points. You know what I mean? But it took your video was 6 minutes to kill one target.
Well, it wasn't that long.
And it was done. You know,
I don't think it was that long. But I mean, the thing is with even in the last raid, like the 100 I liked because you were always moving and you were always you had to be engaged, right? But the 107 sucked.
Hey, could somebody turn off the TV or tubes or whatever?
But I mean,
That is not mine.
not mine.
I didn't say it was you, but you know.
It's not mine.
You had to be engaged, right?
Oh, that's who it was. Mary Wind.
Okay.
I think. I just muted Kyle too. I was trying to go down the list, but
Okay.
anyway.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought people might have a hard time hearing.
But we know that the A set is only going to pay us what, 2 to 3 million points.
That's gonna suck, especially if we have to get armor on top of it. I mean, I'm dreading having to get more fucking armor. That's not even working. I mean, like, and this is the thing is, you know, I was trying to think how the hell this is working because Stu had no problem using that armor. Neither did Raina was running that on her ironclads. Holy crap! On her icebreakers that she did the auto run with, right? Which should mean that they work great. But every time I tried them, compared to conventional, I was getting more damage than when I was using conventional.
Yeah.
And apparently Hulsh had something very similar happen as well. So
yeah. And I ran all mine together, so it wasn't different driving of different targets. It's the exact same path on each one.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I got to say about it. It's real simple. You know.
wait. Do you need a hat for this?
No, I don't need a hat for this. This is
Okay,
just
here's the way it is.
I was just
this is
checking.
just an observation. Okay, this is a simple observation. It's you know, we're getting mixed results between regular armor and the new armor, right?
Right.
But the bottom line is the new armor costs 10 million freaking points per piece. It should be outshining
Yes.
the regular armor.
I agree with that. I agree. It should give you a distinct advantage rather than a questionable one. And that's an issue. That's a very big issue, actually.
And we should know how to use it at this point. We don't know how to use it because we have to
Don't
assume.
use it in salvages.
No,
Yeah,
you die real quick.
we have to assume that part of this is going to change, and that's when people get upset that they spend all this time putting a component on their hull and then they change it. And people get upset at that point. And that's like one of the reasons I brought up the issues with the gluttony and whatnot is because they're going to change it. It's just a matter of when they change it. I would rather them change it sooner before people, you know, spend a lot of time or coin or whatnot, you know, outfitting their hull with it before it gets changed and gets negated, and people get very pissed off.
Well, yeah, my point isn't that not even not knowing how to use it. It's just real simple. It's armor, okay? And I paid 10 million points per piece of armor. If I put that armor on my ship should last at least twice as long as conventional armor that I can pay 2 million points for unlimited amounts.
Yeah, but then they got to scale the target to it.
Not when there was what? There was maybe 2,000 people in the entire raid that had the points to actually claim those armors. Only
claim all of them.
Community, only a small percentage of the community actually had the points to claim them armors. So that small percentage of the community that put in the time, put in the coin to claim that should reap the benefit.
Yeah, to claim all the armor.
I think the whole concept of the armor is a bad road for Kixeye. So if the concept is broken and they just move on from it, I'd be completely okay with it.
Because you didn't spend 200 million on the raid.
I'd spend 40 million or so, but I could have. But I'd rather quit the game than play that game.
Yeah, and I didn't see a lot of people in the test server going in and retreating, preparing, because that's you only got 2 hours. You can't play the raid the way you would normally play it because it's a 2 hour limit and you're trying to figure stuff out. Well, what happens if like on George's video, George retreated after a third of that target, threw in a gunboat and stuck it in the corner, repaired his ships for 5 minutes, and threw them back in there. How much more effective would that have been? I'm not blaming George, but I'm just trying to say
that would be no. I would go if that's something that I've got to do with the new armor. I would go nuts because you got to think about something. The next raid, you got to hit 3 targets to get 2 or 3 million points. And if I got to spend 5 to 10 minutes on each target by retreating and repairing and going back in multiple times just to use armor that I paid 10 million.
20, yeah, that's the cost. That's the problem that I have is the cost of that armor was so high. I mean, it's almost as high. One piece of armor is almost as high, or actually, it's higher than what we paid for a hull. A piece of armor, one single piece of limited armor, is more expensive than a fucking hull. This shit should be gold.
Yeah. I should be able to put it on my ships and run 10 targets without having to worry about repair.
I think Hefe's completely right. I think that if you were going to use it in the way it's designed and to hit the target and leave, I think it can actually, and I think that's what Kixeye was probably going for. It gives a different type of style of play to a different player, and they get to choose whether they want to go in and out of a target or not, or if they just want to run through it.
The thing is, even if you ran all the way through it, even just straight up blitzing and not even caring, you would still have not all your armor pool depleted from them. So it's not a thing of retreating to make it useful. It's that it just wasn't really working at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not displaying those armor pools very well. So it's hard to tell, which bar is health, which bar is explosive, which bar is missile. You know what I mean? So you can't really, the dynamic isn't really there for you to know, okay, I'm getting real low on that penetrative. I need to retreat so that I can reset it.
Let's hope they don't take retreat button away as well.
Yeah, don't bring that up. But I agree that Dr. Death, that the fact that we can't differentiate them is a problem because we know less and less. Well, we have less and less knowledge playing the game as far as what kind of damage we're taking. How to improve what we're doing. We're going in more blindly with one single health bar for that pool. I agree with you. There needs to be some way for us to know without having a stack of little bars that takes up a good part of the screen.
Well, they did have something funky happen when it was running out of armor, I think. It did some weird glow on the hull. I have to go back and look.
But were you running out of but you didn't know, were you running out of the explosive pool or the penetrating pool?
Well, they both had two different colors, and I don't know which one's which. So, I'm not sure. The red one is the one that did it. So,
Because I know I had like an orange glow on mine at one point, but that was whenever like a missile was hitting it, and that was like just starting the target. About, I mean, it was
But
a
you're-
little bit damage, but
Yeah, and me using the icebreaker I got that's got the armors on it, and running the tests that I've done, you all seen my videos probably. It glows every time it gets hit.
Yeah.
Which so that if you ever watch like old animes, when a missile would hit a shield, the shield would light up, a different color as it was deflecting the damage. That's kind of what what it reminded me of on these ships. So it wasn't telling me when the armor was low; it was just telling me that the armor had been hit.
I don't know. The only time I saw it glow was like once. I just figured I was running out of the pool. Oh, that's weird. I'll have to look.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I
if
wasn't
they
really paying
explained
attention to my ships.
But
Yeah, it would.
But like
Yeah.
you said, George, 10 million points per panel. This should be gold. This should be solid gold.
I never noticed as well. Did they run the preview server with half repair?
Yeah, they did run it with half repair.
They did, right? Okay.
You know what this
Oh,
kind of
that's
reminds me
awesome.
of? It kind of reminds me of back in the day when everybody built Evade. Put Evade all loaded up or everything on Evade.
Yeah.
And then you went into a target, and all of a sudden you got hit by every single target. Because at the end of the day, Kickside plays by their own rules. They just up whatever they want on a certain piece of the target, and they can just take out that shield in one hit.
Yeah, because at one point accuracy didn't get up to 240 or 1,000. Yeah, there was back in the day where evade, because I would so love if they gave us the rules and then we could figure out how to play the game.
Yep, but they won't.
Yeah, that's why there's data mining, which I really think they consider it the bane of their people seeing that. But it's the only real reason because like we talk about data mining, other places talk about data mining, and I think it actually saved the game for a lot of people. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it causes them to lose players. I think it causes them to gain players because now players that want to strategize and figure out how to do something have some data to move forward, because there's so much stuff that's hidden from player base. And
it's getting more and more complex. I mean,
No, we have
people are
seen
just trying to
aspects.
find that transparency that we're not getting. So yeah, I don't know.
I
can see
agree.
both sides of that.
I agree. Kickside needs to definitely be more transparent, and then there wouldn't be so much data mining. But data mining has been a thorn in Kickside's side in some aspects of this game. Like, remember when they did the Assault and Siege bypass?
yeah, what got me banned from the forums?
So data mining has not always been a good thing for their company, but I will say there has been a lot of times where it has saved a lot of players because they've been able to figure out how to do something and they haven't walked away and just thrown their hands up.
Death, I'd actually disagree. I think that was a good thing because how many players you saw, they built their ships, exactly the same way, and then they came in the next month and they just got hammered in one or two volleys, and there was no explanation for it.
Oh no! It explained it to us, but look at how many players walked away from the game when they found out that the Kixeye had done that.
That's true, but at least it brought Kicks at a table and admitted to it. And that
Did they ever admit that?
kept me, period.
No, they never did.
No. They banned me permanently
They
from
started
the
calling it
forums.
plasma.
They sort of talked about plasma, but yeah, they banned me permanently from the forums asking questions about it. It's been over a year since I've been banned off the forums permanently because I was asking about that beginning of the assault series of raids where we won the Apollos. That's where it started because you sent your Punishers in there and they got owned, and that was because of plasma / but it was plasma / assault deflection bypass. And, we were told that was never going to happen. It was only going to be individual weapon type, or individual damage type deflection. But
I'm pretty sure they ended up coming up with a post that they talked about it.
All righty, if you say.
It was later. It was like towards the end of the cycle, though. So I think it was like 2 months later or so, because I remember I was building. I had my Punisher tank, and then eventually I switched over. I started refitting my Rhino to tank because I figured if the deflection is just going to get bypassed, why not go to something that has higher resistance, and that had higher missile resistance. And so I started switching over my tank, and then by the time I switched it over and spent like 15, 20 days building converting the Rhino to the tank, then they got rid of the assault bypass deflection.
Yeah, it's been weird what they've been doing at times.
I never understand why they have a problem with. It's like, all right, so they have like a good month, and then they have a bad month, But like the bad month completely outweighs the good months, 3 good months forever. Every time they do it, I don't understand why they don't just build a formula. It's like every time we've talked about that before with the quarterly stuff. Every time there's like a quarterly done, it's like they have to jack up everything and lose so much will. They lose so much goodwill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, Kicks has been having a bad run here for quite a few months in a row now. With the lack of, and the biggest problem Kicks has right now is this total lack of communication with the player base. They can solve so many problems if, dare I say it, they bring back the freaking whip.
Rip whip.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm tired of the whip. Get rid of the whip forever. I'm just kidding. You know me. I've been rallying just to have at least some sort of give us the name of the weapon or special and the date that something's going to come out. Just, it doesn't have to include stats or details. Just give us an idea what's coming out.
Give us some communication.
Yeah. But, they don't seem to like that. Even though the rest of the Kickside games, they do that. Vega, War Commander, they do that. And I'm not sure why they don't do that with this one game and their
part of it might be the fact that we have just a longer, our community's been here longer. We had a much bigger player pool so we've seen so much more of their trends that we can actually guesstimate what they're going to do next a lot of times. And then they feel like they have to do that. They can't give us any information because we'll dissect it before it ever comes out.
Would you have guessed what the Gluttony was going to do if they just told you?
No.
Yeah. I mean, and would you guess what Charged Armor was going to do based on what they told? If they just give you 3 words. I mean, it seems like.
Hold on a minute. Those examples are, they're not really strong examples because they're not actually working the way we were told anyway. Right now.
Yeah, well, I know.
So kind of can't use that as an example. That's a fallacious kind of base to use it on. I'm just saying, if you're going to build a logical argument, you kind of have to have a good, strong base there. That was not a good, strong base.
George, you're pissing on their graves. I was trying to be the nice one, and they don't like me.
I'm not pissing on their graves. I'm just saying, if you're going to use an example, use a good, solid, like the Punisher is a good, solid example. Now, could you tell?
Explain. Go ahead.
Of trying to, if you're saying that they're not giving us good foreknowledge, right? Correct. Essentially.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what foreknowledge is, but yeah, no, I'll believe you. I'm assuming it's not something dirty I'll regret later.
Foreknowledge.
Well, when the Punisher was going to come out, we didn't know, how well it was going to do and all that other stuff just from the description either. But that was a nice, solid. I mean, it was a solid hull. If you're going to use an example for use something solid.
But
not
at
one
that
that's
point
not.
in time, in the game, we didn't have all these divisions. The Punisher was the last of the Unitaskers.
Yeah, true.
I mean, so using the Punisher as an example of the current game is probably poorer than what I did as far as things go. So whatever.
Yeah, but we're not getting good communication even on the stuff that's coming out. I mean, look at charged armors. And
Yeah.
still, even though we've had all these tests and we've got all these mixed results, has Kixeye even once come out and said, okay, this is how it should be? Kixeye, all we hear from Kixeye about charged armors is crickets.
Oh, there's a pinned post that says exactly how it works.
I have an article that says how it's supposed to work.
We know how it's supposed to work, but it's not. But the results don't match what they've defined. You see what I'm saying?
Working as intended.
So let me ask this: if they came out and said, "Hey, the charged armors were designed around like new targets, right?" And they say they're only going to work in new targets going forward. They're not going to work in old targets like salvages and stuff. How would you guys react to that?
I'd be fine with it because at least I would know.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to know why. Like
Yeah,
what?
but you're curious like I am. Like I want to see.
No.
I want to see
wanna
this
figure
and I
out-
want to see that. I mean, but I'm trying to figure out if it's easier. I'm just kind of curious because if it's easier for them to tune it or fix it and go, hey, we can fix it from everything from here going forward, right? Because that's when we made it and we were using X, Y, or Z to test it, and the old shit doesn't work because it's old shit, right? I mean, I think I could be okay with that. And yeah, I would want to know why, but that would be a personal want. I don't need to know why. You know what I mean?
No. Because I've always wanted to play the game, like trying to figure out the smart way to do it. And I would want to know why there was a difference, so I could try and figure out a potential smart way to move forward, not just like, oh, Daddy tells you to do it this way. I'm not listening to Daddy.
But if they came out and told you that, then you would know not to use charged armors on anything that was old in the game.
Right, but he has
That's the
his
smart
problem.
way to do it.
His
I mean-
problem is he needs to know why. Like when I was doing the res cap and res battery, like I had all sorts of weird questions, and I'm like, well, why this? Well, why that? And it's not anything that's in the game or in the print that you're going to be able to find, but it ends up sometimes being kind of important when you're trying to figure out how to use what you got, right?
Well, I understand what
I can
you're
understand. I can understand what he's saying with the why. I'm just saying that it's not a need. Like I'm just trying to figure out if they came out and said, "Look, we can make this work going forward, right? From right now going forward in the next raid and the new FM coming up, all that shit will work fine, but it won't work in old crap." And I'm trying to figure out if I would be okay. I think I would be okay with that. I would be a little upset because of the price still. I really still would have an issue with that.
I wouldn't be
It's
upset
like
with
Barry
the
with
price.
the UAV.
I wouldn't be upset with the price. I would just be upset with, like, why? Like how? What's the mechanism that's occurring to cause that? Because it's otherwise they're just force feeding crap and telling you how to build halls.
I'm going to guess no. You know what? I can probably guess part of the reason because I was looking through Larry's old articles and stuff, right? And a couple other like old posts in the forums and one of the things that they were testing at the Dark Alliance was the floor values and the minimum damage, right? And one of the things that was showing up that I could see kind of in what people were putting up over time was there's two different minimum values. I think our original stuff, like the stuff that we can research and the stuff that we got out of the salvages for blueprints, I think those are those floor value. Remember the floor value when we were testing with UAVs and that armor that they came out with a couple of years back?
For deflection? What are you talking about?
Well, it was when the UAVs came out and we got the plates.
Okay.
That would do like a flat reduction of damage, right?
Okay.
And then everyone's like, oh, this mathematically should be 0 damage. Why am I getting damage? And then they were like, okay, that's when we first heard about minimum damage, right? And when we started testing, I think we came up with 3 because it was only 3 damages then, and I think it was three different floor values. It was 9. I'm pretty sure it was 9 for ballistic, and I don't remember the. I think it was 3 for ballistic, 9 for missile, and maybe it was 12 for explosive, something like that. So if that's the case, right, then I can see if you're hitting something like salvages where it's old ass freaking tech, and it uses that minimum damage as opposed to the ones that we found when we were testing the Punishers. Remember the Dark Alliance did all like friggin' 3 weeks of testing on the Punishes, and they were coming up with all these weird answers and crap, and then finally someone said, dude, it's not a single number, it's a calculation somewhere, right? Do you remember that? It was like 3 pages long. So I think what's probably happening is the way the mechanics changed with the different blueprints and stuff, I'm betting something somewhere along there is where it is. And the problem with that is going to be a freaking bitch to figure out. Or I could be completely wrong. I mean, fuck if I know. I'm just trying to guess what's fitting what we're seeing, because they sure as hell don't work in the salvages. They're getting their asses handed to them in the salvages.
They don't work in the old in
Right.
the current FM either.
See, I haven't seen any videos of tests. Do you have a couple of them?
Your buddy Renato put some out. I mean, he was taking way more damage with the charge armor. He was taking
Okay,
twice
I didn't see
twice
that.
damage with the charge armor that he was with the resistance based
Yeah,
armor.
see, that's weird. That one I don't understand them, because that's all new tech, right? They're not using any old blueprint
Well,
crap.
not ancient dusty tech, but it's still pretty old.
Damn it! I thought I had a good solution. Screw you guys.
Whatever.
Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
Easy.
Bastards. Either way, I think if they came out, like I was trying to think about this today. I mean, if they can figure out what the hell it is and they can go forward and go, okay, look, we can fix this. I'm very torn about whether or not I would be mad or just be like relieved. You know, like I don't know which one I would be. Like, I'm relieved that, yeah, okay, now we know how it works and where it works and how we can use it. But at the same point, I paid 200 fucking million points for these things. What the hell?
Yeah, can I speak on that then? The reason why I don't like that armor in any concept of way is because the armor is basically designed to make the raids and the FM and all the chores less grindy, right? And if we're going to have to continue to get more and more points at every single raid to get these armors for every type of fleets going forward, which is, let's be honest, that's probably they're looking at happening. They're seeing what we think about them, you know, with this first release. And I just think it's unprecedented. So next, we're going to have limited specials. You know, we're going to have limited. We already
That's
have
a good
limited
point.
weapons. We have heavy weapons. We have limited flagships. I mean, every single thing is. The game's scaled on it.
The point. That's actually a really good point, because the points inflation, if you actually have to start getting these armors and all the limited crap, the points inflation is enormous going raid to raid. Then that's just bad. And the flags. Let me tell you that they're making a habit of coming out with flags, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But if it's going to be an always thing, bring the build times down. Because I mean, really. But yeah, that's a good point. If you have to come up with that many points raid to raid, the points inflation is going to be sick. I mean, it is sick. What did you need? What did you need? Not last raid, but the raid before. How much did you need to actually get, like, if you wanted to get everything?
Probably about 90 mil or so.
And then this one, you needed like 715 million, right?
Yep.
Let's just call it 360 for the arm, all the new stuff.
No. If you wanted to get everything.
No, I'm just about the new target, just the new stuff though. If you were all the way caught up, it cost you like still.
George is at least concluding. Well, are you including the?
I'm saying everything. If you wanted to get everything in the raid.
Well, if you wanted to get everything, not this last raid, but the raid before, you needed to get 162 million points, and that was to get all the new stuff plus all the shards for the capital ships and all the build
and all tokens and all that crap. Okay.
Right, that was 162 million.
160.
This last raid, you needed 700. What was it? 750.
I thought it was 720. I only spent 720, and I had.
It might have been 720. But then, of course, it all depended on if you was missing an item or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm caught up.
Yeah, this raid, remember as well, it was a star raid, so you could get a lot more items than in a normal raid, really.
Right, but we're looking at points inflation comparative to raids, going raid to raid, like how many points you need.
So you went from 160 million to over 700 million.
And how many
only
extra days did
2
you get?
days on the raid.
You only got 2 extra days.
And it took longer this raid than last
Yeah,
raid.
right. To get your points, that's right. To get the points, it took longer because you had a second target as well.
Yeah, I got less points this raid than last raid. And I had 2 extra days.
That's because you slacked off this time.
Still, maybe some, but
You slacked off. You and Wayne both. Wayne was like, "I'm gonna beat you this time. I'm gonna beat you." He didn't do crap.
I didn't. I even hit or prepped less because I hit about 200 million before I started prepping.
Oh man, I started prepping at 97 million, and I ended up with just under 725, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a long freaking raid, and I took like a day off too. I mean, I was like, I didn't screw this. It's just.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't see me surviving the game a year if the raid's going to continue going like this. You know, I want to go back to the old days. I'm a coiner. Yeah, I'm a filthy coiner. Whoop-de-doo. I want my raid done the first day. If I'm spending my coins to do this damn raid and to get my points and win my prizes, I want to win all my prizes the first damn day with my coins. It's that simple. That's the way it used to be. That's the way it needs to go back to being.
I mean, for the second raid in the cycle, it was pretty quick because I took 2 hours and got 100 million points that second raid in the cycle. So that one was fine for having that many points with the A sets. But I mean the S sets, but this one was kind of too much.
It's even more important nowadays to get the prize whole if you're going to get it out and build it during the raid to have it ready for VXP week. It's even more crucial now to be done in one day in the raids.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been telling that and making sure you keep the tokens from the week before, which is going to suck because this time I'm not going to be able to do it because I still got to finish the damn icebreakers. I don't know that I'm going to have enough time to actually finish them. Actually.
And then what about the people that didn't do the icebreakers because they were waiting on the skill holes? They're not going to be able to save any tokens either.
Nope.
You know, I mean, the way Kicksai is rolling this all out, I'm not happy with it. I hate to say it, but I'm not happy with it.
It feels. I mean, I know it's not tentative, but that's the feeling that you get is that it's you have a tentative feel going forward. It's like you're poking your toe in a dark room to make sure you don't hit something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but the whole point of getting all this stuff is to make the raids easier. And when we get it, then they keep on making the raids more and more grinding.
harder. Yep.
So it's this feeling of hopelessness almost in the game now.
Vicious cycle.
And I'm still scared to death. I will not deny it one bit. I am still scared to death that the raid is going to be based off the skill ship and not the icebreaker.
I guarantee it is.
It better not be.
If it's somewhat like the target we have that we face in the preview, then I will be fine with it. But that depends on how much they'll change it. And how much they'll change the skill hole.
Yeah, all they have to do is just up something and make something like have like missile bypass or something, you know, and put a missile in there that's going to cause you to get 30 minutes of damage, and you're going to take that one hit every time.
Or no, what they'll do is they'll just add armor, because look at the difference on the DPS between the remote targeting hole and the icebreaker.
Yeah.
The DPS difference was massive. So if they had enough armor on there, the icebreaker is going to be chipping away at those targets versus the, new monolith just pounding them.
I mean,
I don't see how they call that a skill hole at any form or fashion. The skill hole should have been a tank. If the Tideseeker is still our best tank going forward, then it really doesn't make a difference.
Well, really, I think that the Zelos is probably a little bit better. Well, I don't know. As a tank, I know the Icebreaker's definitely better than the Tideseeker. That's for sure. As a tank,
I think the Tide Seeker makes the better tank if the mines would have been blown up. So
Well, yeah. See, I was thinking that before I saw that video. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, with the mines in there, the Icebreaker is definitely probably the top tank right now for going forward.
But it's still going to take damage,
until
though,
we
right?
see the actual targets.
It's still going to take damage, then, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, you can drive in between everything, so you won't get hit at all by the mines. But it's tedious, you know, and that's another thing. I'm getting tired of the tediousness of the targets.
That's kind of always been the case with a tank, though.
So what does everybody think?
Targets as well. Sorry, FA, go on.
No, go ahead. Daddy. Go ahead.
No, I know you were going to start a new subject. Go for it.
No, I was going to start a new subject of shutting down the show, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. You're right.
No, go ahead. Unless you're going to say something really silly.
No, I'm just going to agree, but never mind. It's happened.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, does anybody have any, like, you know, do we have any new conversations? I mean, because we've been going on for over 2 hours.
Shocker.
I mean, whatever. People continue to listen to the show. I mean, people complain, though, but that we go over 2 hours. But I don't want to cut anybody off because I think we're having good conversation, like freeform, that people appear to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm willing to let it go.
I have a question or slash suggestion. I'm not quite sure about this. Is there a way to find the 97 mines?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I
can't find anything. I can't find anything on. Yeah, I can't find anything on the locator anymore because all my crap's like, you know, kind of done. Like I can't search for mega holes. I can't do shit.
Yeah, George, if you can relay that's something that's really annoyed me in the game lately, especially if I'm playing on like a phone or something.
I have a list in. It's insanely long. I don't know that they're ever going to get to it though. I think it's just more of like an internal wish list.
Yeah.
You know?
How I find 97s, I just get to first track base and then go down in or up in a diagonal, either which way, left or right. Usually find 1 or 2 round in the base and a few a bit further over. Can do about 6 or 7, I think, what I did the other day with my ironclad, and about 4.5 hours repaired, just put on overnight and go to bed.
Although there is one thing that I keep on asking, and I'm sure eventually I'm just going to wear them down. Is I want, when you're searching for bases or for like mega holes, like other mega holes to hit, like other Hyperions, I want it to do a randomized pool out of the world that you're in, rather than your sector and the 2 neighboring sectors.
Yes.
You know? I have been begging and begging and begging for that crap. Like, oh, that would make life so much nicer in that game.
Well, to be honest with you, you know what? To be honest with you, they need to drop your sector. I mean, because you know.
No, when you go in, when you drop somewhere and you want to in-sector hit, that's fantastic.
Well,
I mean, not that I would ever do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Where's Danielle? I haven't seen her in ages.
Whatever. Different topic. Oh well. Do we have anything new that we want to talk about, or we can go to the after show, and I will explain why I think we got all these structure build tokens.
Why don't you say that live? Why have we got the structure build tokens? I mean, do you need tinfoil too, or?
No. I'm pretty sure.
I'm curious now.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think you know why.
No, I don't. But I'm actually really curious now. I haven't heard anybody kind of guess why we have them, because I was like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna have a bunch of friggin' level 8 turrets now. Awesome.
Well, no, at the beginning of the show, I gave 2 theories that I had.
Oh, well, I missed it. Do they require tinfoil as well?
No.
No. I gave 2 theories.
My 2 theories, George, that I gave at the beginning of the show was real simple. One, it could be that we've got a new base attack TLC coming down the road. to where having them level 8 turrets is really going to be of value. Or my other theory was, if you remember about this time last year, we got all them 7-day build tokens out of that one TLC. And then 2 months later, they dropped OP9 on us.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been about that long.
I think it's more to do with shipyard and dock for people to get it up to maximum level.
I have a theory. Now that you guys are saying it, I'm like, I think the theory is more they want you to get your level 8 turrets up because they've dropped how many tier 6 hulls now? There's a lot of that's the fourth. Is it the fourth one?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fourth tier 6 Conqueror hull. And we got a whole bunch more coming because if we're guessing right and it's the 7 deadly sins, that's another 5 that are going to drop.
Yeah, there's only 2 out at the moment in the which.
I mean, yeah. So the power creep on PvP base hitting at least and base defending is going up, which means that you're either going to be upgrading these things or you're going to get really pissed off because everyone's flattening your ass. So my guess is they're just trying to balance the damn game. That's just my guess.
Yeah, balance versus what? Yeah, my theory is much more evil.
Oh, God. All right, I got to hear this. All right, let's go. Where's the tinfoil, man? I'm going to need a whole roll of tinfoil for this shit. Let's go. I'm ready.
I don't think it's that evil, but
What is it? Come on.
Where's Brian?
I don't know. Come on. I want to hear the theory. Now you got me all curious as shit now.
Yeah, I want to know as well.
OP9 was in December? Hold on. Daniel, is that right?
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right.
OP9
Yeah,
was in
OP9 was
December.
December.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was that long ago. I was like, well, hold on a second, man. Shit.
All right, good night, everybody.
No, man. Son of a bitch. What the fuck is the theory?
Tune in next week.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it on air.
Why not?
Oh, I think
just
you
said
know,
that.
I think you know what the theory is. I think I've already told you.
Come on and say it.
No.
Dear God, I will teach you how to make my
told me?
tinfoil hat. Shall I say the damn thing?
Dude,
I'm
did
I'm not bothered whether you do it on air or off air. Just turn it off.
No, because we're considered the bad boys. And I don't want to be too much of a bad boy as far as explaining what's going on here.
What the fuck does that mean?
What? We aren't the bad boys of Battle Pirate shows?
Hell no, I'm a fucking angel.
No. Well, not you.
Good.
They don't even let me in the previews. But whatever.
Oh my God.
They don't even let you in the forum.
Yeah, I'm banned from the forums.
You're
Whatever.
You're not going to get your ban from the forums taken but given back to you